Hi, today I'm going to be talking about how much my home will sell for. It is the biggest question that homeowners are always asking when they go to list their house and while their house is for sale. These are questions that come up, and probably this is the most common question. And the answer to that is, it depends. So what does that mean? That means that the market data is what we use to come up with a good portion of that pricing. So, and it's based on it's going to give you a price range. So that's going to say that your house is valued at X, but it could possibly be Y all the way up to Z, depending on how accurate this is. So for instance, if you have a house that is out in a suburb, in a development, the accuracy is going to be more close because there's more market activity. If you're going to live farther away, in and out of the suburbs and out into the country a little bit more, it's going to be less accurate. So just so you know how that works. Consumers now are going to come on sites to check properties out. And they check it out on Zillow is a good one because that's used most often. And Zillow gives what's called a Zestimate. And it's going to give you a Zestimate price of value, and then it's also going to give you a price range, as well as a lot of property details. In addition to that now, consumers can go on the county auditor's site, because this is online. And with the county auditor site, it's going to give you, if there's homestead exemption, it's going to give you the accurate taxes for the year. If there's any past due payments, it's going to show on there as well. It shows the owner, it's got the property ID, as well as the address. So those are the two sites that consumers can use. In addition to that, the realtors have two more sites that they can use. And one is from the multiple listing service, the MLS service, and that would be, it's called Realist. And that is another way that we use to determine the value of the property. And it's going to be based on the MLS and the geographic area of that MLS and the MLS listings in that area. There's another site that realtors can use, and it's only available to realtors, and it's owned by the realtors, and that's through the National Association of Realtors, and it's called the RPR, and that is another source. So if I have a family member or customer that's moving from here to Philadelphia, say, or from here to wherever, I can pull up information on properties in those areas. Anywhere in the United States, I can give you a value of those properties based on data that I get off the RPR. So just to let you know that that information compiled will give you a really great approximate of what your home value is going to be worth. However, it's missing condition. So nobody, not a realtor, not an appraiser, is going to give you a value without actually looking at your house. So bottom line, yes, I do need to come to your house to give you a value. You can't just call me on the phone to get it. So the condition of the home is going to be based on the information that you're providing, and you're going to fill out a form that's needed by the state of Ohio. All sellers have to fill it out, it's required, and you're going to talk about on 6 pages the property of your home. So that goes to all the potential buyers so they can see and agree to anything that's on there. They've already seen that when they determine the price and the offer that they're making to you. So many realtors are going to ask for information in addition to that, because we want to know about things like the age of the mechanicals, the furnace, the heating elements, the air conditioning unit, the water tank, the age of the roof and the gutters, all of those kind of things. We need to know that because the buyers need to know that, and the appraisers are going to need that, and the home inspections are going to need to know that. So that information you're going to provide to the realtor at the time that they're at your house. In addition to that, there's things like appliances that are going to stay with the house. So oftentimes a lot of the TVs that are attached to the walls are going to stay with the house. So you need to prepare information as to what is going to stay with the house. because that may change the values of the properties. There's a lot of other things now. There's electronic devices that we never used to include, and now a Ring doorbell and things like that that may or may not be included in the price of the house. So once the realtor has compiled all this information, then they're going to sit down and say, this is my recommended price or my price range. And then it becomes the homeowner's final decision. It is the homeowner's decision as to what they want to list it for after they've acquired all this information. Here's a couple things that I want you to be aware of, because there's a lot of sellers that say, I just want to test the market. That means I want to go above your recommended price and list it higher than that, and just let's see what happens. Well, that's really the downside of that. Is your best buyers are going to be within the first 2 weeks. They specifically are looking for homes similar to yours in areas similar to yours. And if you're going to have showings, you're going to have your best showings in that first 2 weeks. If you are priced incorrectly, then you start getting, after 2 weeks, you're going to get the general public. And what does that mean? People that are coming through that, I just want to look, I haven't decided where I want to live yet, or I don't know about this area, I'm just trying to find out about the area, or I'm just beginning to look. These people are not going to be nearly as qualified, and some of them may not even have been approved for a loan yet, although they should all have a pre-approval before they look to houses. But this is the kind of thing that you're going to get after the first 2 weeks. So pricing it right is critical, and be right the first time is what I try to say to buyers. When the home is not selling, the owner has 2 things that they can do out of the 3. 2 things that they can control, and one is the price and the other is the condition. There may be something in the condition that's holding back buyers. If it's the price, maybe that's what's holding them back. But you, the seller, have control over those 2 things. What you don't have control over is the location or the neighborhood. So those are things that you need to consider going after 2 weeks to take some kind of action to get your house to move. So I guess I'm going to end this by saying, price your house right at the first start of the listing.